Draymond. Had nothing to do with Draymond.
Yeah, I kind of figured
Draymond's out. How about Draymond? Draymond acted like, oh, my hand just flew. It's completely independent of my body. I don't know what it's going to do. I try, but the thing has its own life, and it just flew into his face, and I don't know how.
Listen to
the
you.
The whole thing was like, I don't know what I'm doing. My hands are just flying in a free-flowing motion. And just whatever.
See, I will in this instance stick up for him in that I think he was flailing to try to draw the call, because I've done it before. It's just I've never flailed into someone.
You think he was flailing and caught the guy in the chin?
Yes.
Is it what happened?
No, I truly believe that.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately, he flailed into his face.
I hear you, because it was a flail. I will admit that. It was a flail. But because it's Draymond, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt.
That's exactly it. He made this bet, right?
Of course.
If Steph was flopping, then be like, oh yeah, he was flopping. So I didn't mean to do that. But Draymond's like, nothing. No way.
Yeah.
Oh, Draymond, I'm going to flop and crack a guy by the side of the head. What are the odds?
Steve,
pretty good, apparently.
So somebody on the
and he actually, if you're right, Tom, he's like, why didn't me? I was just flopping. Why are you coming after me? I was just trying to flop. Can't you see that?
Oh God, it's just I feel like, and you've been a part of this too. You kind of saw the end of the 49er kind of run, kind of head downhill, and I feel like that's what we're witnessing here. It's like trying to hold this thing together, and Clay's just not the same, and I don't know what's going on with Wiggins, and Draymond's getting suspended every other game, and Steph's still trying to hold it together and playing great ball, and the bench is playing good but not good enough. I just feel like this is usually. You see this with like these great dynasties, and I mean, you guys run about a 15-year run, but eventually it kind of comes to either to a 20. Okay, sorry about that. I shorted you. I shorted you 5 years. I apologize.
Faint 20 in the background.
But it really is. You can kind of start to see it where, and I always make this comparison, Steve, to Dan Marino when he was playing toward the end, because I was a huge Dan Marino fan. He would still, once a month, he'd throw for like 350, 4 touchdowns. You're like, oh, damn. He's still got it.
He's got it.
And then the next game be like 220, 2 picks, and they'd lose like 28-10. You'd be like, ooh, he just isn't having as often as he used to have it. Like, I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to be great consistently. Like, that's why, like, you're in the Hall of Fame. Joe, Tom, I mean, Steph's going to be like, you're great, but you're not great once a week. You're not great twice a week. You may be off once every couple weeks, and for football, even less. But it's so hard to sustain that, and you kind of see it come not crashing down, but like every once in a while, the Warriors, like once a week, will be like, oh, that's the team I think can win a championship still. But then you don't see it again for another like 10 days. And that's generally what happens to great players and great teams. You'll see it occasionally and you'll think maybe, but then you just don't see it that often.
And, remember Bill Walsh, the players loved him and hated him.
Yep.
Well, we know why they loved him and why we all loved him, but why do we hate him? Because he would always get rid of you right when you started to have that decline. Or at least talk about getting rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm still rolling. I'm the man. What, not now? Not yet. And he had that sharp knife. And so that's what in a way, that's what you have to have. And if you think about the Warriors and their run, what an historic run.
Yep.
And the gang that did it. And Joe has to say to himself, you know what? I owe these guys. I was a new owner. We've ridden it together. Yep. And it's just a life-changing event. And I don't have a sharp knife. I refuse to have the sharp knife on the guys that got me there. And I totally understand that. And as a fan, I'm like, I respect that. But to your point, it wears out and you can smell it. And look, they'll still rally. I guarantee you they'll get in a winning streak and they'll rally. And to your point of the Dan Marino, who knows how far they can go, but you can see that they don't have a sharp knife when it comes to, I don't know about the Jordan Poole and Draymond thing.
Yeah.
We can talk about that forever. But clearly they picked or chose historically.
Yep.
Right? And that's, to your point, is that's not going to probably get you where you want to get as people age.
And that's what I would do. I mean, I appreciate the Giants keeping all their players together until. And now, business-wise, it's maybe not the smart thing to do, but
business-wise. I'm talking about the sharp knife. I
agree with you.
Making sure that you get reborn, you get new blood, you keep the same culture, you try to hold on to the leadership and go after another championship. So it's the idea of like we can. And so what happens is you think you're close to enough. These guys have been champions. If they don't need a little help. CP3 will get him a little help, and then we can go after another one. It's totally rationalized. I get it, but you make the Dan Marino point, which is a great one.
And you delude yourself to thinking you're closer than you are is really what happens.
You're always, the closer you are,
yep,
the more foggy the glasses are.
And I'm with
Tom,
I got it.
I can still do it. No one believes me anymore. I'm telling you.
But look, I'm with you. They've helped me. Right? Joe Lacob isn't sitting on that gold mine without Steph Curry, without Klay Thompson, 100%. Without Draymond Green. So I want to reward them. I want to say, you know what? You're my guys. I'm with you until the end. When you say that, there will be an end.
They say ride and die, right?
Yep.
Like that's how we're going to do it. And so there's philosophically different ways to do it, and you got to respect that Joe said, you know what? These are my guys, and we're going to go down. We're going to go down together.
Yeah, they're going to ride and die.
I don't have a choice at this point. Speaking of till the end, by the way, I'm talking to Steve Young here on the UMA guest line. Update on Draymond Green's indefinite suspension. So for those just joining us,
changed already?
No, we've just got more information about it. So I'll give it to you.
Have you heard of an indefinite?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of that? We are suspending you. Maybe forever. We just don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, we'll decide later.
We'll get back to you. What is that saying?
Stay by the phone.
I've never heard of that in my life. What kind of a suspension?
It could mean in perpetuity or indefinite.
No, you've got to pick a suspension. You cannot do it indefinitely.
Well, they did.
Something off the field that was like a felonious assault.
Sure.
So like, this is on the field. This is on the play. You don't have an indefinite suspension. Like,
it's a great point.
Say, pick one. Pick something. You know. Oh, we're going to suspend you, and we're going to think about it tomorrow.
So Adrian Peterson once got, but again, that was an off-field incident. You're absolutely right about on court indefinite is absurd.
Yeah.
Now even when Ron Artest climbed into the stands and they were like, "Dude, it's a season. It's a full. It's 82.
Yep.
Yeah, they just called the number, right?" So Draymond here. This is per Shams Charania now. For those joining us, Draymond Green suspended by the NBA indefinitely, so we don't know when he's coming back. Shams now reports. He says, per sources, Golden State's Draymond Green now is expected to receive counseling and work with the Warriors in the NBA while suspended after striking Phoenix's use of Nurkic on Tuesday night. He has to meet criteria before a return to play. Steve, to your point, very vague.
Yep.
There's
nothing to do with
it happened on the court. And what's Draymond going to say? What, am I going to go to flopping school so I flop better? Like, I don't know. If you're disciplined from the league, tell me what it is. We'll move on. Indefinite based on what? Like, when are you going to decide whether I say sorry? What is it? Like, tell me the parameters. This is professional basketball. This is like the big leagues. This is not like middle school where you've asked the parents to come in and we're not really sure and we got to go to no. Like, pick something.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Steve, because they suspended Ja Morant for 25, and he also had to meet certain criteria to get back on the court. So it'd be one thing if you said, look, it's 15 games, but you got to meet
getting certain things you got to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now you got to get this stuff done, and then we'll kind of decide as you're going through it to see how long we want to suspend you.
You're going to jail for how long? I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
We don't like you, and it's punitive. It's not.
What's the bail? I don't know. We're going to figure that out. We'll get back to you on that. You just hang out here for a while, and we're going to get back. We'll get back to you on that.
If I was Hall of Fame coach Steve Kerr, I would be.
He did stop.
Come on, man. We're like 10 minutes in. You did it already. Wedged it in.
Couldn't say Steve Kerr. All right, let's get to the football.
Jesus, this guy.
Let's get to the 49ers. Man, I'm kind of I don't know if I was ever not with you, but now I'm starting to look at this maybe in the light that you were looking at it last week. Like, these guys should win the Super Bowl. Like, they're favorites to win the Super Bowl. And I know it's a one-game scenario, but these guys are – because I'm looking at the AFC. What do we talk about before the season? Oh, it's tough. You know, the Bills are going to have to go through Cincy or Kansas City. They're going to go. Yeah. Now it's like well, that's really not that big a deal. I'm looking at the AFC and I'm thinking, Baltimore's good, but we're going to find out in a couple weeks when they play the Niners. Like, I just don't look at a league that's that great right now, and I think the Niners are can fully take advantage of that.
Let me give you a stat.
Okay.
It blew. I have never in my life heard anything like this. If you take all of our throws behind the line of scrimmage, 0 passing yards, just take them all, average yards per attempt for 0-yard passes, leads the league. Leads the league on their own. Like all the other teams in the league throwing downfield.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Wow.
So we got to rephrase that a little bit. So what you're saying is when the Niners make when they complete a pass that is for 0 air yards behind like Brock drops back
behind the line of scrimmage.
Tebow catches it still behind the line of scrimmage. Even those yards per attempt is greater than every other team's normal yards per attempt.
Normal yards.
That's absurd.
100%.
That's wild.
That is insane. And so what does that say? It says that Kyle Shanahan has hit the I don't know, triple crown. It's like the dream scenario for quarterbacks and for offenses. I'm going to make it as easy as I can for you and difficult for the defenses. And that's a stretch that every offensive coordinator has been trying to do from the beginning of time. That stat tells me that guy is the king that can create the environment with great players, that you can lead the league in attempts behind the line of scrimmage while the rest of the team tries to go downfield, yards per attempt. Wow. It baffles the mind how amazing this juggernaut is right now, and we just got to keep it going.
Talking to Steve Young here on the UMA guest line. What does pre-snap motion do for a stat like that? Does it work to get guys open? Is it just about identification?
I think it's all about. Okay, remember they changed the rules. Defenders can no longer launch their bodies. Made more in this elite athletic space field. There was more space now because defenders couldn't. They can't patrol without launching their bodies. They can't patrol as much field, and so it's like there's more space. And so when you think about the innovative stuff that's happening, the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, the Mandy Reeds, Philadelphia, Miami, Minnesota, like they see what's happening. There's space out there. How can I get the ball out quickly into space? Because it's like college more. That's why the slip screen. We never ran slip screens. They get mauled. Like there's never a chance. But now you can run them, and you can lead the league if you can get deployed with people who, like Debo, can take it to the house, who can take the pass behind the line of scrimmage. So the motion is trying to set that up. Make the defense. Motion tells the defense, I have to think. And defensive players, my old thing. Pop Warner. I told you that, didn't I, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Pop Warner, when you grew up, and they asked you what ocean what ocean is the Atlantic? What ocean is the East Coast? What ocean is on the East Coast? And that's, you said Atlantic Ocean. You played offense. If you say West Coast, I mean,
defense.
You play defense. Look, I might be a defensive player now, but anyway, you get the idea. So if you motion makes defenses think. And that's not what they want to do. They want to react. They want to go. And so that every motion, especially if you're doing Christian coming from outside in, or Debo from inside out, or like you just get people in strange spaces, George, and and that's what's fun about what Kyle does every week is he's come up with ways to make the defense go, oh wait, what? And then bam, it's too late. Wait, what? Too late. And that's what's happening. That's why that stat, which is the most incredible stat I've ever heard in my entire life in football, is what's happening.
How many times, by the way, did you tell that joke to Charles Haley?
0.
How many times did you tell it to Reggie White?
0.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, when I'm in a friendly company, I can say it a lot better too. It's a lot funnier when I say it right.
Reggie joked a lot when he was on top of you, is what you said.
Yeah.
He was like, he cracked a lot of jokes when he was like in the backfield.
Oh yeah, Steve, great to see you, man.
Really?
Like,
Atlantic Ocean? How's this for a tsunami?
That's a
Come
great
down
story.
right in your head. And the thing is, though, when we look at this team, Steve, I look at an offensive juggernaut. I also look at a defensive juggernaut. Like I'm trying to, this may be hyperbolic a little bit, but I'm trying. How far do I have to go back to find a team? And I probably shouldn't say this until they win the Super Bowl, but what the hell? That's been this dominant offensively and defensively. Like it's not like a team you say, you know what? If we could just keep up with them a little bit, like that defense isn't very good. We got some stuff. No, because they can win a game 17-13. They can also win a game 38-35. Lately, they've been winning them 38-14, where they just crush teams. But I'm trying to remember like how far. Maybe it's probably not even that far, but it's hard to find teams that are this dominant.
None of the Patriot teams qualify.
Yeah,
because they always had a bunch of guys. Now in 2008 they had Randy Moss, but their defenses were good to great, but not. They were solid and they got the most out of everybody, and you never felt like. And then you go back even further, like the Denver. I'm just trying to think Super Bowl champs and not Baltimore, not Denver, not
Seattle.
Not Seattle. They weren't put together like this. And so you go back to like our team in '94, the Cowboys in '94, '93. Like when you played the Cowboys back then, that's who they were, right? Offensively, number one. Defensively, number one. And maybe we're missing somebody, but it's not hitting me like I can't really think of anybody like that. But
yeah, it's not hitting me either.
They're expanding. They're leading the league in both directions, right? And I think that's what you're saying, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, and the star power on the teams reminds me of your teams and the Cowboy team. Where you just look around, and you go, my goodness, look at all this. Look at all these Hall of Famers, and I don't know if these guys are all going to be Hall of Famers, but
you think Fred will be
probably.
Dre probably could be, but Dre. I mean, you're talking about the best linebacker. Bosa. I mean, I don't know. Look at they're like, Chase Young's on the team. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like this is crazy town. Crazy town.
And then offensively, you got stars all over the place. Now it really does. It does look like that, and I wouldn't have. I mean, I felt this way a couple weeks ago, but I thought other teams were closer. And by the way, you may have been right about Philly.
Yeah, no, they'll return. They are not as bad as they've been the last couple of weeks.
Yes,
they'll fight back, but there's something not there.
I agree.
I'm not worried about it. And now we not to talk about the Cowboys, but I will tell you, the Cowboy offense has started to innovate. There was like 10 plays out of 70. I'm like, hey, that's something we can work with. And Dak, it helps Dak tremendously, and he's playing better because of it. So it's like, okay, they still go back and they run the I formation. Like you're like, let me peel my eyeballs off. I was like, what are you guys doing? Get out of the 2010. But they just can't. But yet they have transitioned. They've copied, because that's what you do with innovation. You copy until you're doing it yourself. You copy, and that's helped them. And I think that they're better fundamentally, offensively, than they were when we saw them.
But that's it, right? I mean, you look around the NFC, and it's like, nah.
Oh my gosh, no. Well, that's why you're in a 10-7 ball game in the second quarter, like last week or the week before, and 6-0 into the second quarter, and you're like, this is not right. And then all of a sudden, you just can't hold it back. Yeah. And that's why I always said, that stat I wanted from you, Adam, last week about coming out first drive of the second half. I want to go last drive of the first half. Those two drives, I mean, that's where things seem to explode for us. And they just.
Well, I guess
it feels like
got rid of those notes I threw up from last week. I guess I'll do notes next week. Okay.
Yeah. Harmony stole them.
So, okay, all right. You come right back to it. See, now I got to put some distance between us, because we got to do something meaningful here, Steve. We got to put something out there. We got to reel it back in for a minute.
That was bad.
All good.
Draymond.
You got to Draymond the Forever Young Hero of the Week is what you did. Dude. We're trying to do something good. We'll come back to the fun. We'll come back to it. We like to honor somebody and a foundation every week. We'll set the table here. Steve Young's with us on the UMA guest line. Every week, the Forever Young Foundation honors a hero of the week. And we at KMBR and the Steve Young Forever Young Foundation like to pick an organization or a person. There's so many people and organizations that have gone above and beyond over the last few years, and we want to salute some of those. And so this week we're going to salute the Health Trust, food and nutrition, chronic disease prevention and management, supportive housing. We use a multifaceted approach when tackling health disparities plaguing the most vulnerable populations in our community: older adults, recently housed individuals, and people at risk of or living with a chronic condition. Chronic pain is just awful. We align our roles as a funder, a provider, and an advocate to create lasting change for the people we serve, to the systems and the policies affecting their health. For more information, you can get involved with the Health Trust. It's healthtrust.org. Again, healthtrust.org, or call 408-513-8700. Something, a common theme between all of these foundations that we honor each week, Steve, is oftentimes they are multifaceted without having to say it, like the Health Trust did.
Yeah.
They are set up, they are help you succeed, and they are carry you through it. They're not just drop you off and say, cool, that's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. We gotta help this thing get better from the grassroots, right?
Look, a lot of people, they'll feed you for a day. That's great. I love it. But there's people that are actually trying to change lives too. So again, here we go. And it's that time of the year where we kind of be more grateful. We're thinking about people. All these foundations, these are led by people that might get a salary, but mostly volunteer efforts. And that's why we scream, we yell them out every week. That's a great one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's get into how Christmas going. Okay, all good. Decorations, tree.
Into the thick of it. Absolutely, it's the best. It's the best time of the year. Yeah.
I decorated last night. Yeah, I hit the spirit last night.
I enjoyed it.
Last night was the night. Yeah.
Perfect timing, Adam.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
You know why? It's even better than it usually is. Like, I love Christmas. Got the tree up, got the decorations outside.
Watched the Santa Claus. It was good. Yeah, I got into it.
It's great. And then we decided, like all the adults, all the kids, and Lori and I decided, you know what? We're not going to do gifts this year. Let's just get gifts for Camila.
You decided today?
Where's our granddaughter? Yeah, a couple days ago.
Oh, you weren't getting that. I mean, we're days away.
We're doing the granddaughter. That's it. She gets all the gifts, Steve.
Nice. All right.
And then the adults, no gifts. And we're like, man, cool. I'll go get it myself. I want it.
We did the same thing, Tom. Barbara said we're going to take off and see some family and whatever. And so let's not have a big hoopla, you know? And it's like, yeah. And all the kids are like, oh, okay. All right, we're in. And then my wife, she can't stop. She's like, well, I got a few things, and you know, and then I went and someone else. I mean, pretty soon, bro, it's no different.
Yep.
It's like we can't stop it. It's like in a runaway train. Like, let's just do no gifts. So if you can hold on to it, you guys can hold on. Let me know. I tell me how to do it.
You know what you got to do.
All it takes is a one person to cave and go, well, I just got you a little something. You're like, well, then I want to get you a little something. And then
a couple things, right?
Yeah, it's like, I don't even care if it's like a toffee fay.
You got to go Secret Santa. Secret Santa's the way, because then it's one thing little. Nobody feels like they've done too much and done too little.
But I don't even want to do that.
When it's internal, you can do that. We did that with our family. There's like 7 of us. It's easy.
I don't.
You get one gift.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right, Steve, we can do it then. Get me in on yours. I'll do it with you.
I'm going to suspend Draymond for 2 games.
2?
2.
I think they're just making bleep up now in the NBA office. They're just like, let's do the. You know what it comes down to, Steve? Here's what it comes down to. They're just tired of his crap. They're just like, we're done with this guy.
Exactly.
We're just tired of you.
I agree with you, but be big boys. This is professional basketball. You're the legislative body. Like, you don't get to go, oh, we don't know. Like, you don't get that. Like, now, you upset me, and I'm very frustrated with you, so I don't know what to do. Like, no, you don't get that. That's not in your purview. That's not the way. You don't get that choice. That's not one of the choices. That's a hard no. Like, have some conditions, pick a time. Let's be big boys and get this done. I know, it baffles the mind.
Before we let you go, we got to ask you what you thought of the Giants not getting Ohtani
and the deferred money.
Yeah.
We've got to get in the game. I know. I mean, I believe we have the money.
They tried.
We've got it. It's what the 49ers. Why did Christian McCaffrey come here? You know, why did Trent Williams come here?
Well, he got traded.
Both of them.
No, they got traded, but they picked the spot, right?
True. That is true.
I understand. They're like, that's where I want to be. And so you got to get that momentum. You got to get the momentum. I want to be there. You got to create that environment where, like, the best players want to come, and that show, hey, I want to come because I'm going to be protected in the lineup by 2 other guys for 10 years. I'm going to be solid. Like, no, we don't know who's going to be around you, Ben. Well, yeah, we're not. They don't have the force. They don't have the force right now, and we got to get it back. So the free agents say that's a place to be. Right now, the 49ers. If there was a free agent like fair right now, and you go around, and it's like there's 3 guys in on every team. Like, where do you want to be? They're like 98% of like, hey, San Francisco. Can I get the 49ers? 49ers. How do I get the 49ers? I'll take less. Give me less. I'll take. You know, it's like that's why. Why is Trent Williams is the difference maker? Christian McCaffrey is the difference maker. You know, that's and they chose to be here because Kyle and John had created that environment, and the Giants have got to get to that place.
Yeah, same as when you were playing. Bill Walsh created that environment, and people wanted to be there
because that was drafted too.
They knew they had a chance to win.
Yeah,
20-year run, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it's closer to 15, but I'm going to believe
15 too. But we'll go
all right, before I let you go, real quick, someone wanted to say hi to you.
Hello again to Steve Young. Isn't it funny how I make Stevie blush like a schoolboy?
It is funny.
She wanted to jump in and just say hi real quick, Steve. So we let her. We usually keep her contained until Fridays, but
it could have been a lot worse.
We'll bill you for it though, because that's going to cost us something. Yeah,
we had to plug her in, so it's going to cost us electricity,
energy bill, right?
Yes, you pay by the second with her,
Well, you get those hotel rooms like by the hour. You're good to go.
You pay indefinitely.
You get like HBO Max stuff like that, right. So you're good to go. Have a good week. We will talk to you next week, Steve.
All right. Tell me let me know when there's a suspension that's definite.
Yeah, I'll text you when we get something definite.
All right.
See you, Steve.
Oh, he's the best. Steve Young, Hall of Famer, best half hour in sports radio. Each and every week he joins us at the 5 o'clock hour on Wednesday night. We'll have one more with him next week before